Drugs and drug-related crime pose the single greatest challenge to law and order, according to retiring Supreme Court Judge Justice Kevin Duggan. A lifetime in the law means that he has seen many of the state's most notorious crimes, and it's also made him the longest-serving Judge Advocate General for the country's military forces. This week, though, it all came to an end with Kevin Duggan stepping down, but not without some parting reflections.
In September 1971, Clifford Cecil Bartholomew picked up a gun in his little wooden cottage in Hope Forest. The enemy within then proceeded to kill his family.
His wife was shot, his sister-in-law was shot, and there were 8 children who were shot in the house. That was an horrific case.
The man who prosecuted him was retiring Supreme Court Justice Kevin Duggan, or as he was back then, the recently appointed Chief Crown Prosecutor of South Australia. In the years since, he sentenced James Vlasakis in the bodies in the Barrel case. He was defence counsel in the Truro murders and more recently presided over a terrible case of criminal neglect of children. All leave a mark. But even after all this time, the Bartholomew case still stands out.
The photographs and the descriptions of the pathologists were enough for me, but as so often happens in these cases, it's the police officers who are first on the scene, the ambulance officers, the forensic staff who have to confront a scene like this. We sometimes forget that there are people in the community who perform a very noble task and a very difficult task.
He is too modest to include himself, but after decades in the law, one of those people doing noble deeds is Kevin Duggan. His job has been a window into the best and the worst of what people are capable of.
What makes some people bad?
I don't believe in a bad seed, but I do believe in environmental factors which cause crime in due course. When you see the lives that some young children are forced to leave and the values which they are not given and the values or lack of values which exist in the family environment, you realise that there's got to be a cause and effect in those circumstances.
Kevin Duggan started studying law in 1960. For a time, Kevin Duggan contemplated becoming something many judges would quite like to lock up.
I was interested in journalism, and I spent some Christmas holidays as a copy boy, and I rather liked the life of the main reporter's room and the activity that went on there. And I did think about that for a while.
Go over the horizon and wait for action. Stop. And action!
Along the way, the law has taken him to unexpected places, like movie sets. Kevin Duggan was a technical advisor on the film Breaker Morant, which told the story of the controversial execution of South Australian mounted carbineer Henry Breaker Morant by the British during the Boer War. His advice was sought because Kevin Duggan was also Australia's longest-serving Judge Advocate General, basically the senior legal officer overseeing the military justice system. It was a job that reminded him the law faces constant pressure to evolve. The nature of conflicts such as Afghanistan demand it.
It is far more complex. In world wars, for example, there was usually little doubt about the enemy, and there could be protections for civilians, but that's not the case with, for example, a peacekeeping operation. The troops have to be aware of the extent to which they are permitted to use force. The rules are very similar to the rules of self-defence in the ordinary criminal law.
And in the civilian system, he worries about the capacity of juries and judges to deal with ever more technically complex information. Then there's the rise of drugs.
I'm not speaking now just about drug crimes, but drug-related crimes such as armed robberies, etc. I think if there is one single challenge to law and order, it lies in this area.
The law evolves personally too. For Kevin Duggan, slap bang into the mandatory retirement age of 70. He wants to travel more and spend more time in art galleries and museums. His family plans for him to spend more time with his 8 grandchildren. He is considering a book about characters in the Adelaide legal fraternity, though he warns the living not to fret about what might be revealed. Dead lawyers and judges are far more interesting.
People say we don't have the characters that we used to have. Perhaps it's because our life has become busier and we haven't got time to tolerate characters, but I think we're the poorer for it.
The single most difficult task, he says, is sentencing.
You can't talk to your family about or anything of that nature. Sometimes it's a pretty lonely job.
And so, true to form, Kevin Duggan finds it difficult to pass verdict on himself.
I'm just thankful that I've got to the end of 23 years without what I would call any real disasters, and that may be due to good luck as it is as much as good management.